Good morning students. Next topic in the chapter we have sexual reproduction in plants. So sexual reproduction requires the involvement of two individuals, typically one of each sex. Normal human reproduction is a common example of sexual reproduction, and in flowering plants the reproductive parts are located in the flower. Now let us have a look on the parts of a flower. In a flower, we have receptacle, sepals, petals, then these are stamens. These are stamens. Upper part is anther and the long tube-like structure is filament. And if we look at this another part, it is known as pistil or carpel. It has three parts. Upper part is stigma and this part is called style and the lower part is called ovary. All these parts have their some special function in the flower. Sepals, they protect the flower during its bud stage. Petals, they make flower colorful and attractive and also produce fragrance. So they are so in order to attract insects for pollination. Stamens. Stamens is a male reproductive part. It consists of anthers and filament. You can also learn it from here. Stamen. Men means it is the male reproductive part. Then carpel or pistil. It is the female reproductive part of the flower. It contains stigma, style, ovary, and inside the ovary it has ovules. Now, these flowers can be of two types, unisexual flowers and bisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers are the flowers which have either only pistils or only stamens. For example, papaya, corn, etc. Bisexual flowers are the flowers which have both pistil and stamen in them. For example, tomato, brinjal, mustard, etc. So these have both the pistil as well as stamen, that is both the reproductive parts are present in the flower, whereas in unisexual flowers only one reproductive part is present. It is either female reproductive part or either male reproductive part in the flower. That's why they are called unisexual flowers. Now let us have a look on the life cycle of a flowering plant. So this is a life cycle of a flowering plant. If we start from here, when a seed germinates in the soil, then it grows into a plant. Then this plant bears flowers. In the flower, fertilization takes place and seeds and fruits are produced. Inside the fruit, seeds develop and there is dispersal of seed. After dispersal of seed, the plant usually dies and then the seeds again germinate in the soil and produce the new plant. So this is a life cycle of a flowering plant. Now let us know something about pollination. So pollination, it is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma in flower is called pollination. Inside the anthers we have pollen grains. Here we have pollen grains. These pollen grains when transferred from anther to stigma, then this process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is known as pollination. Pollination is of two types, self-pollination and cross-pollination. In self-pollination, what happens? The anthers. In self-pollination, anthers have anthers. They have pollen grains. These pollen grains they transfer from anthers to the stigma of the same flower or the flower on the same plant. For example, if these anthers contain pollen grains, and these pollen grains get transferred from this anther to the stigma, or by some pollinator, if they get transferred from the pollen grains of this flower get transferred to the stigma of this flower, then this will be called as self pollination. But if the pollen grains from anther of this flower, they get transferred to the stigma of a flower on another plant, then that is called cross pollination. Now, how this pollination takes place in nature? It takes place with the help of pollinators. Pollinators are the agents that help in the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. They can be it can be wind, bees, butterflies, and many insects. They can be birds, rats, bats, etc. So, and in some cases it can be water also. For example, in case of aquatic plants, the agent is water. So look at all these pollinators: honeybee, butterfly, birds, bat, they all are pollinators. Now let us see what are pollen grains. So look at this picture. All these are pollen grains. Pollen grains are very light and are microscopic in size. They contain male reproductive cell. Each pollen grain has distinctive outer wall that is tough and resistant to decay. You can see all the pollen grains, they have distinctive outer wall, and the pattern present on this outer wall are distinctive of their species. Means the outer pattern depends upon the species of the plant. Then there are some flowers in which pollination takes place through wind. This, look at this. In this wind, this is a wind pollinated flower. Then this is insect pollinated flower. In wind pollinated flower, anthers are situated at higher level, and in insect pollinated flower, anthers are not so highly, they are not so at higher level in the flower. And in insect pollinated flowers, they are mostly very colorful, and they have a good nectar glands in them, which attract insects and helps in pollination. So thank you students. In the next topic we'll continue with the next topic. Thank you.